We do have Admiral Schofield, who is joining us. He is a Wizards rookie, one of our regulars here on the show, a guy we check into periodically. And Admiral, first and foremost, what's going on, my man? We're really happy to have you today. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're doing good. First and foremost, let's just do this. We obviously want to get to what the league is telling you as players, what the team is telling you, what your plans are going to be going forward during this hiatus that Adam Silver has said will be at least 30 days. But I want to just know from you, Admiral, like how did you first find out about the season being suspended, and what was your initial reaction?
Well, honestly, I had been flipping through the channels. I was at home. I was trying to watch some basketball. I was trying to watch the OKC game, and when I saw that they didn't let the players out, I knew that they could possibly be postponing the game to really decide what they wanted to do. But when the NBA released that they were shutting down the games, that was very shocking. I think to a lot of people. But I would say that a lot of guys knew that was probably an option, because of the virus going around. But it's more about safety right now. No matter what if people have the opinion on the coronavirus, it's really about the safety of everyone. And we're trying to get control of this thing. So I understand why a lot of the leagues have been canceling and stuff like that. But for the NCAA not to be amongst some of the first is very shocking.
Yeah, Admiral, run us down the last 2 weeks. Like once this starts getting momentum, you're hearing all this stuff, and obviously, listen, we're talking about it when I'm in the travel party, and then to get to the point now, what was the last 2 weeks like? Interaction with the fans, all that stuff.
Well, the last 2 weeks have been very different. In the NBA they have rules and guidelines and policies and stuff, and usually like especially like Scal, you know what I'm talking about. When you have the uniform diagram, what you can't wear on the court, what you can wear on the court. They have like posters like that in your locker room. And now we have coronavirus posters. And I made a comment. I was like, man, they made that so fast. You know what I mean? Like what to do, what not to do, how to interact with fans, how to keep your hands clean, the proper way to wash your hands. And it's just amazing how quickly this whole thing escalated. Because last 2 weeks, it went from being that, I'm not sure if this is the last 2 weeks, but it went from being that it could possibly touch the U.S. to it's in the U.S. to now everything's shut down. I just hope, they don't shut down like, restaurants and other places like that, or too many of them, because I feel like that's going to cause even more chaos. But the last 2 weeks have just been, every day has increasingly been a new development, a new story, or a new case, and it's been overwhelming. But I can see why a lot of people are scared and fearful. I think the biggest thing is to just inform yourself as much as possible. One, on how to beat this thing, with your own remedies, but two, how to prevent it from spreading.
Admiral, like speaking of informing, what have the Wizards, obviously your team, the team you play for, and the league told you about sort of the next step over the next couple of days and weeks? Have they told you anything? And could you share with kind of their guidelines for what they want you to do as players?
Yeah, so I think every team is different. I'm pretty sure every team is different, but the Wizards are giving us till Monday. A lot of guys are going to be getting tested just to get tested, and we're going to come back together on Monday and make a decision on how we want to go about working out and stuff like that. Because this 30-day period can't just sit around, even though that the world needs to. Everyone needs to just relax for a second. But we can't sit around, so we got to stay moving, stay stretching, and all of that stuff. So it's going to be very interesting how they structure this thing and how they go about finishing the rest of the season. But I think the biggest thing too is being in the NCAA, playing in the NCAA for the last 4 years. It is a tough situation when you're a senior and you're banking on that tournament to be able to make a push to, just get another look from the scouts or be able to put yourself in a position to get workouts during this pre-draft, and all of that's taken away. That's tough, but, this is a life and death situation. And I think what's important right now is everyone being healthy. But, in that situation, I know it's very tough. But like I said earlier, I just think I was very shocked that the NCAA was one of the last leagues to cancel everything. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. Those kids being the next generation of athletes and all of that. And, for them not to have the courtesy of just taking the extreme action first and then, dialing down by then, it's mind-blowing. Everything is pretty mind-blowing.
Do you think it's when they talk to you guys or doctors talk to you guys, do they tell you you're not at risk because you're a really healthy athlete? Just don't be around any people with compromised immune systems or any old people? Or are they telling you if you get sick, you're at risk and you could die?
So see, it's not that they're saying that. What they're saying is that, one, this disease, it's not like this is a disease where you get it, it's an instant death sentence. The disease is lesser than the flu, but it really attacks weak immune systems. So that's people that have been, through chemotherapy, and different diseases, or people, or younger children. You have older adults. You have people like that it can affect because it attacks weaker immune systems. So if I'm in my prime, per se, I'm 22 years old. My immune system's pretty good. I'm a pretty healthy guy. It's less likely for me to die from it. Now, the problem isn't that people are dying from it. The problem is how fast it spreads, is what they're saying. And the biggest thing is getting it under control. It's not about who can get it, who can't get it. It's just about slowing it down because it's very contagious. It can spread. But they also said it's not as contagious as we think. They said that it's only 15% contagious rate. So it's not like it's just going to spread. It's how it spreads. And that's through like people coughing or, spitting on something or coughing on their hands, licking their hands and touching other stuff. Like that's how it spreads faster. But other than that, it's not like the rich can't get it and only the poor. It can touch anybody. It's just about slowing the widespread.
Admiral Schofield. Admiral Schofield, Wizards rookie, joining us here on Scal Pals. Admiral, I want to ask you this because, were you or any players, the couple weeks and days leading up to the season being suspended, did you feel like the league should have done that sooner, or did this just all happen so fast that you were just like, oh, as soon as you saw the Gobert thing, it had to happen now? Or were you talking with players and saying, hey, should we be playing games right now?
No, I can only speak for myself. And, as a player, we tend to focus on things that are important to us in the moment. And honestly, I really wasn't worried about a coronavirus because, at me being an athlete, me having the mindset I have, I feel I can beat anything. But this thing is serious. And I feel like a lot of us didn't worry about it. And this being a players' league, us not worrying causes everyone else not to worry, I feel like. So once Rudy Gobert came down with it, I knew for a fact that, they're going to take the extremes to protect us because, this, like I said before, it's a players' league, but at the same time, our league is one of the best leagues at protecting us and making sure that we're good while we're playing, after we're playing. It's great to see that they have taken this initiative and to see how much leadership the NBA has with other leagues, and how many other leagues follow suit. So, I just think the biggest thing right now is that everyone just takes this serious and tries to do their part to help slow this thing down.
There's no doubt that the message coming from the league is like it looks bad when you have 20,000 people going to a building to watch your games or anybody's games, right? And then saying it's really serious, everyone take it really serious. So to be online with what the public needs to do, the NBA had to cancel the season. But my question to you, were you surprised that Rudy Gobert or any player got it, or were you like, it's just a matter of time before a player gets it and then the season's going to be suspended?
I was surprised at first. Like I said, you just think that you're invincible at times, and to see that he got it, I think it really was alarming because of how many players attack the basket, and how many times they got to check the big or, just make contact with the big man rolling to the basket. Him being a shot blocker, him just being around the basket, that's what was more alarming to me. And to see all the videos of, them trying to show all the players he came in contact with and all that stuff is just like, man, But at the same time, when you understand what's going on, you start to see that, the media kind of is trying to take the perspective of things and run with it when it's another thing. It is important, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like the media has been making it worse, making it a lot worse about the information the limited information that they're giving out and how they're delivering the information. I feel like they're causing a panic. And right now, it's just like I said, it's really just about paying attention and understanding what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, because what we hear is this thing is so contagious. Well, if it's so contagious, then how come 50 or 100 NBA basketball players don't have it? You think about what you're talking about, driving to the basket, setting screens. Rudy Gobert is the #1 screen setter in the NBA. Just so if this thing is so contagious, I would assume that 100, 150, because, then dudes are dapping up on the sideline. Then guys are coming to get, basketball is a contact sport. I'm shocked that only 2 players right now have it.
That we know of.
Yeah, that we know of.
Yeah.
No, it is very shocking. It is very shocking.
Admiral, let me ask you this, because obviously, we wish everyone well in the short term and even the long term as this thing 30 days out looking like the hiatus. I'd imagine it will probably be longer than that. Do you feel how do you guys feel about the season potentially being pushed back further into the summer? If you guys get a couple months off, hopefully best case scenario, this isn't as bad as people were saying and you're able to play again. Are you guys, and as players, that you can speak for yourself, obviously cool with maybe starting restarting the season come July and August? Is that something that you would be okay with?
I mean, honestly, it's tough to say because, guys in this league that have been playing, they really utilize that time for their family and their businesses. So, me being a rookie, as long as I get to lay down for a couple of days, I'm going to be all right. But, those guys, I think they'll really wouldn't like that very much. They really utilize that time to spend with their families and, really recover, especially guys like Brad Beal, averaging 30 all year. He's going to need some rest. He's definitely going to need some rest, especially if we want to change our culture and make a difference next year. He's going to need rest. I don't know how this is going to get pan out, but I hope everything works out in the favor of everyone. I know it's going to have to be some give and take, but I just hope that it works out for everyone.
Admiral, if it came to it, would you be? I mean, if it went several months and we're approaching basically the fall, would you be okay with the season just not having an end to it? And then whenever we, obviously as a society get through this, you just start up a new season next year? I mean, is that not having a finals, not having a playoffs? Is that something that you feel like should be on the table?
No, I don't see the point because that's the entertainment piece. At the end of the day, we are entertainers, and I just feel like without the playoffs, without the finals, I mean that's what people mostly watch anyway. I think it could really hurt the league in a sense to just be playing all year, especially you got the other seasons that will be starting back up and trying to figure out when they can finish up their season. So I don't think it'll be smart.
Admiral, you guys are on the outside looking in. If they ended it right now, would you guys be upset that you didn't make the playoffs? Let's just say they took the top 8. Would you guys be like, man, I feel like with the way Brad's playing, the way we're playing, I feel like we could have made a run?
Well, naturally, as a competitor, yeah, we'd be upset. We'd be very upset because, we've had our ups and downs. I mean, it's not like we've been getting blown out all year. We've had games where we've been right in it or had games where we had to lead it and lost it. It's been an up and down year for us, but we haven't stopped fighting. So, if anything, I know guys would be very upset if they had to just call it like that. I mean, I would hate it if they just gave it to the best record. Like, for example, they just said the NBA champion this year was the Bucks or the Lakers. Just to give it to them because they had the best 2 records or the best record in the NBA. That would suck. So I don't know how they're going to do it. But I just hope it works out for everyone. That's the biggest thing. I just hope it works out for everyone.
Couple more questions here for Wizards rookie Admiral Schofield, one of our main guys here on Scal Pals. Have they talked to you about how financially for you, how this no games impacts you guys being paid?
No, I haven't heard much, but I'm pretty sure no games equals no pay. So I just hope a lot of the guys that came in with me really saved their money up and were smart with their money as far as up until this point. Because, you don't know what could happen. You don't know what could happen. And we had maybe 2 pay periods left before the season was over. So it's unfortunate, but, these are situations unpredictable situations that people talk about that you have to be prepared for. So, like I said, I just hope everyone is prepared for this.
Yeah, another interesting thing, Ceruti and Admiral, is contracts are supposed to end on June 30th. So if this thing gets pushed off, Anthony Davis is supposed to be a free agent on July 1st. There's a lot of guys that are entering into free agency here. So to say the season gets pushed into July, a lot of things have to change. The collective bargaining agreement has to change. I don't know what your deal is, but you might have an option and you got to opt in before this and that. So it's not just hey, we'll just push it into August.
Yep.
Yeah, and that would be very interesting. that would make it even more interesting. You're right, Steph.
Admiral, I wanted to ask you this too, because you brought up the NCAA, being basically the last one to the party to make what is the right call to sort of postpone or cancel the NCAA tournament. They've officially canceled both the men's and the women's tournaments. An interesting thing from UConn head coach Gino Auriemma, he said on ESPN that he actually supports the idea of extending eligibility for seniors who are basically going to miss out on, and not even in just, the basketball, men's and women's basketball, but other sports, all across sort of the spring sports, because they're going to miss out on really the only time they're going to be able to play in some of these tournaments. You were a guy that, I know you had great runs through March, and the tournament is something that you, I'm sure, hold dearly to you. Would you be in favor of that? Would that make sense if they would basically allow seniors, whoever, at their choosing, if they wanted to come back, have another run at it next year?
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's fair that those guys get another chance, but I just think the reality, too, of that situation is, what do you do, for example, in the basketball sense, where you have a big recruiting class coming in, but you have a guy that was maybe a good 4-year player, really good 4-year player that you would like on your team. How do you go about that? As far as just playing and everything, I don't know how that would work at a Kentucky, but definitely I love the idea for sure. I'm in support of that idea. I just don't know how that would work at a Kentucky or Duke in today's college basketball, because you don't see a lot of 4-year, 2-year, 3-year guys. You see a lot of 1-year, 2-year guys that come in, play, and then end up putting their name in the draft. And then the coaches starting with a new group. So it's just, I don't know how that would work, with schools like that, but I love the idea. And if they could figure that out, that would be great. Or have something where these guys are able to compete, for a certain amount of weeks or something to let them finish out their careers.